I'm Shannon, 35. Standing in the opulent ballroom of my cousin Mia's wedding, I was surrounded by a sea of faces that had once dismissed me. But now, they were filled with a palpable mix of greed and excitement as they swarmed around my fiancé, Ethan, a tech mogul whose name was synonymous with wealth and success. Just a few hours ago, I had walked into this very room alone, greeted by the muffled laughter and whispered jabs from my family. "Poor Shannon," Aunt Grace sneered, her voice carrying across the aisle. "Always so focused on her career. She'll end up alone." Little did they know that in less than an hour, Ethan would walk through those doors, and their mockery would turn to desperation. Growing up, I was the black sheep of the family. My parents, strict and traditional, measured success by marriage and children. My older sister, Mia, followed the expected path, getting married young and starting a family. Meanwhile, I was driven by my passion for technology, graduating at the top of my class from MIT and landing a high-paying job at a leading tech firm by the age of 25. My father, a no-nonsense businessman, was disappointed in my career choice. He believed a woman's place was in the home. My mother, on the other hand, was more vocal about her disapproval. Every family gathering was a reminder of my failure to meet their expectations. "When are you going to settle down and give me grandchildren?" she would ask, her eyes filled with disappointment. Despite their criticism, I thrived professionally. I climbed the corporate ladder at Cybertech Solutions, from a junior programmer to the director of software development in just 8 years. Each promotion was a silent middle finger to my family's narrow-minded views, but they never once congratulated me. Instead, they reminded me of all the family events I had missed because of my work. 6 months ago, at a tech conference in Las Vegas, I met Ethan. I was making my way to the coffee stand when someone bumped into me from behind, sending my papers flying.
"I'm so sorry," a deep voice said.
When I looked up, I saw Ethan. He was tall, with kind eyes and a disarming smile. We spent hours talking that night, sharing our stories of growing up, the pressure to succeed, and the complicated relationships with our families. Ethan came from a humble background. He was raised by a single mother in a small town in Texas, and he had built his empire from the ground up. His story resonated with me, and we quickly fell in love. 3 months into our relationship, he proposed on a romantic weekend in the mountains. I said yes immediately, but when he suggested announcing our engagement to my family, I hesitated. I knew they would only see his money, not the man I had fallen in love with. When Mia's wedding invitation arrived, Ethan encouraged me to go. "Family is complicated," he said, "but running away from them won't solve anything." I agreed to attend, but I insisted on going alone. I wanted to navigate my family dynamics without them immediately zeroing in on Ethan. The night before the wedding, my mother called to confirm I was coming. She was disappointed to hear I'd be going solo. "Everyone is bringing a date, Shannon. What will people think?" she scolded. I tried to stay calm. "They'll think I'm confident enough to come alone." But she snapped back, "They'll think you're too busy with your job to find a man." After hanging up, I called Ethan in tears. "Maybe I should skip it," I said. "No," he replied firmly. "Stand your ground. Show them you're not affected by their judgment." But deep down, I was affected. I still craved their approval, even after all these years. The morning of the wedding, I chose a simple yet elegant black dress from Armani. It was a statement of my independence, a way to blend in while still standing out. As I fastened my grandmother's pearl earrings, I made a decision. I texted Ethan, "Change of plans. Come to the reception at 7. His reply was immediate. "On my way. We'll make an entrance." When I arrived at the wedding, I was seated at the singles table, surrounded by distant relatives and awkward teenagers. Mia glided towards me in her white wedding gown, a picture-perfect bride. "You made it," she said, her voice dripping with false enthusiasm. "Yes," I replied. "Wouldn't miss it." She gave me a once-over. "That dress is nice. Did you get it on sale?" I forced a smile. "Something like that." As the evening wore on, the insults and jabs from my family continued. Uncle Henry cornered me. asking about my retirement plans and hinting that he might need my help in the future. Cousin Jake and his friends laughed about my spinster status. I was on the verge of leaving when Ethan texted me, saying he was running late due to a last-minute board meeting. Just as I was about to text him to cancel, I heard the whispers start. Heads turned towards the entrance, and I saw Ethan standing there in a perfectly tailored tuxedo. He scanned the room, his eyes landing on me. A warm smile spread across his face, and he started making his way towards me. The atmosphere in the room shifted instantly. My family's expressions changed from dismissal to greed. They swarmed around Ethan, introducing themselves and trying to start conversations about business. Ethan, ever the gentleman, shook their hands and made polite small talk, but his eyes never left mine. Aunt Grace was the first to recover from her shock. "Shannon, you never told us you were engaged," she exclaimed. "We've been keeping it private," I replied calmly. My mother rushed over, her eyes wide with excitement. "Ethan, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Shannon's mother." Ethan shook her hand and said, "The pleasure is mine. Shannon has told me so much about you." As the night went on, my family's true colors were on full display. They fawned over Ethan, asking about his business and hinting at potential investments. Uncle Henry even pulled out his business card and offered to manage Ethan's portfolio. I watched in disgust as they used Ethan for their own gain, completely ignoring me. I excused myself and went to the restroom to collect my thoughts. As I was washing my hands, I heard the voices from the next stall. "Shannon finally got lucky," Aunt Grace said. "That Ethan is a goldmine." My mother laughed. "Yes, and now we can finally benefit from her success." They continued to talk about all the ways they could use Ethan's wealth, and I felt a knot form in my stomach. When I returned to the reception, Ethan could tell something was wrong. He pulled me aside and asked what had happened. I told him everything I had heard in the restroom. His expression darkened. "They don't deserve you, Shannon. We should leave." But I hesitated. I didn't want to cause a scene at Mia's wedding. Just then, Uncle Henry took the microphone and announced that the family had an important announcement to make. He was about to reveal our engagement when Ethan stepped forward. "If you don't mind, I'd like to share our news," he said. He took my hand and addressed the room. "First, I want to congratulate Mia and her husband on their beautiful wedding. Second, yes, Shannon and I are engaged. We've been together for 6 months, and it's been the happiest 6 months of my life. What many of you don't know is that Shannon is one of the most brilliant and kind-hearted people I've ever met. She's built her career from the ground up, and she's done it all while dealing with your constant criticism." My family's faces turned pale as Ethan continued. "Shannon paid for Mia's wedding venue when she found out there were financial difficulties. She did it anonymously because she didn't want any credit. That's the kind of person she is." I took the microphone from Ethan. "For years, I've tried to earn your approval. I've achieved so much, but it's never been enough for you. You've always measured my worth by your narrow standards. Well, I'm done. I'm not going to let you use Ethan or me for your own gain. From now on, our relationship is private, and if you want to be a part of my life, you'll have to accept me for who I am." The room fell silent. Some of my family members looked ashamed, while others were angry. But for the first time in my life, I felt free. I had finally stood up to them, and I knew things would never be the same again. As the night ended, Ethan and I left the reception hand in hand. "Are you okay?" he asked. "I'm more than okay," I replied. "I'm finally happy, and I meant it.